Now please welcome Pinky Cole, founder and CEO, Slutty Vegan. Dixon, co-founder and CEO, The Honey Pot Company. Asahi Pompey, global head of corporate engagement and chair of the Urban Investment Group. Earl E-40 Stevens, entertainer and entrepreneur. And moderator Zoya Hasan, reporter under 30 Forbes.
Should I go now? Hello. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to chat with all these people here. So we're here today to talk about hustle. And these people here have hustled so hard, they don't need any introduction. So before we get into, the trailblazing of it all, Asahi, I want to kick things off with you. Sure. You bring a very unique lens from your seat at Goldman Sachs, where you're working with everyday entrepreneurs who are building from the ground up, many of whom might be in this room.
Yes, we have some 1 million Black women graduates. Yes.
Exactly. So tell me, what is the one common trait you see amongst these everyday entrepreneurs who are able to successfully turn their hustle into enterprise?
Sure. One of the traits that we're seeing is that the creative economy is really converging with traditional business. What that means is 75% of people say they are more likely to buy a product where they follow the person on social media. So gone are the days where you buy a product, you have no idea who's behind it, you couldn't even name them. Now, we want to know who's behind that product, and we want to direct our funding there. That is one of the macro trends that we're seeing across the entrepreneurs. And we've been working with 20,000 entrepreneurs over the last 15 years.
Incredible. And I think that's so true with what Pinky has done, what B has done, what E-40 has done. Pinky and B, I want to talk to you. You were once these everyday entrepreneurs building from the ground up. Can you give us a little bit of insight into the early days and some of the hands-on hustle you had to do?
The early days. Ooh, the early days was ghetto, okay? Let's talk about the early days. Starting a business requires a lot of focus, time, dedication, and sacrifice. And I can say it now that I don't think that I'll ever have that same level of hustle and dedication, because when you're younger, you're hungry, you ain't got nothing to lose, you're gonna get it by any means necessary, but you're not working for the money. You're working for the art of the game, right? Mm-hmm. And the game is to be able to knock down problems, find solutions to hard things, and really create opportunities for yourself. So if I could bottle that up and sell that hustle, I would in real time, because here it is now. I got 3 kids under 4 years old, and I'm running a business, and I'm married, and it's incredibly difficult. I still have the hustle and that drive, but when you are young, and I know many of you in the audience are really young, when you young, now is the time to go in for the kill. When you got the energy, you got the time, you got the space, you have the health, because that is when you build those multi-million and billion-dollar businesses.
Absolutely.
Yes, Lord.
B?
I don't even know if I could say anything better, to be honest, because it's true, I think the other thing about it is you don't really know what you don't know. Yes. And so because you don't know what the rules are, you don't even realize you're breaking the rules. Mm-hmm. And it takes you breaking the rules to really break through and do something different that's never been done before. Yeah. And so when you've been able to be successful, which I'm eternally grateful to my guides, my ancestors, my guides, everything, my brother, my family, my company, my team, we've been able to be extremely successful, and that's just not a thing that happens every day. But because of that success, I now know the rules of the game. Mm-hmm. So like she said, when I go out at some point in my life to do it again, it's gonna be from a completely different lens, And while that hustle and drive will be different, it actually will be really great at the same time, because there's a lot of mistakes that you don't have to make again.
Absolutely. E-40, you're coming at this from a whole different world. You built a very successful career in music, and now I think you have more food and beverage products than a household name CPG brand. So what made you want to be an entrepreneur?
For some of y'all might know I'm a rapper first, right? So I've been in the game, in the rap game, since 1988. So it's ironic that I sell wine and spirits now. I develop it. I'm a supplier. I build it from the ground up, from start to finish. It all starts from a light bulb on the side of my head saying, this is the idea we want to do. You know, with that being said, I diversify my portfolio by doing certain things like stuff that's natural, like an afro. I'm telling you, like, I started cooking. I've been cooking since I was a little young mustache. You know what I'm saying? I started messing around with the power pressure cooker. I came up with my cousin B legit said the goon with the spoon in a couple of raps. And I was like, I'm gonna start hashtagging that, the goon with the spoon. Next thing you know, I got the logo, the vector. I'm putting it on all of social media every time I post me cooking and whatnot. Now I'm co-packing, so I got products in Walmart and Safeway and so on and so forth. And the co-packing is like beef jerkies, ice cream, you know what I'm saying, sausages, burritos, you know, snacks, good stuff like that. So anyway, making a long story short, a short story long, you have to be able to bump your head too. You're gonna find out certain things on the way up the ladder because sliding fees, and I know you know about it, sliding fees, they eat you up, you know what I mean? And certain distributors that charge that, you know what I mean? So anyway, to make a long story short, the short story long, it's always good when you're doing something, when you're making revenue off something you love to do. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what we all want to do. I'm sure y'all all want to make some money doing something that you all love to do. And so that's what I'm in here for and to do, you know. And it's so much, I can talk forever. I'm looking at the time, I'm like, man, I'm just skipping subjects and whatnot, you know. But anyway, somebody else say some stuff. I don't want to take up the whole platform.
All right. Well, you want me to go? Okay. Well, Pinky, let's talk about some of the things E-40 just talked about. And let's talk about, you can't talk about hustle without talking about risks and failure and, you know, just being able to pivot. So Slutty Vegan has been in the news a lot lately, right? You recently lost the company. Then you regained control of the company. Now you're rebranding into Slutty Vegan 2.0. Tell us what that journey has taught you.
Oh, well, first of all, let me give you the backstory. So February 13th, 2025, my company went into a global restructure. It is called an ABC, write that down, an assignment for the benefit of creditors. And that's basically if your business has more debt than it has revenue. So at the time, we had about $20 million in debt. So here it is. I had the super popular company. It's a household name. Everybody loved my brand. And I look up and I'm like, damn, I'm about to be a Netflix documentary if I don't fix this fast. Okay? So I lost the company, and then the company went up for sale. So I am the Slutty Vegan. It wouldn't make sense for somebody else to buy my brand. So I rubbed my little pennies together, and I came back and I bought Slutty Vegan under a name called Ain't Nobody Coming to See You, Otis. Okay? Because I needed to remind people that they're coming to see me. Just like what you said, they're not coming to buy products first. They're tapping into the people. They're tapping into the lifestyle and who they love, right? So since I bought my company back, I brought in a new president. I brought in a new franchise president. I brought a new director of development of franchise. I brought in a new Pinky Cole Hayes because I'm brand new, okay? It's a new me. I brought in a new executive assistant, and then one critical thing I did is I got my FDD, and that's a franchise disclosure document. Raise your hand if you know what that is. Okay, so that means that now I can sell Slutty Vegan. So here it is, this concept that I came up with in my 2-bedroom apartment, okay, thinking that I was just doing a thing that turned into a $100 million brand. You mean to tell me that I can sell it? And I can build generational wealth for my family, and I can help other people build generational wealth for their families? Why wouldn't I do that, right? So now you said you're in the news a lot. I'll be honest, once upon a time, I used to be upset that I saw myself in the news in a way that, you know, that I didn't like to see it. But listen, all press is good press. All press is good press because it gives me an opportunity to keep me relevant, and I can turn the narrative however I want to. So I'm so glad to be in the driver's seat all over again. I needed to fall. I needed to stumble. I needed to fall on my face. I needed to be humiliated professionally as an entrepreneur, because guess what? Now when I see something coming, been there, done that. Now if I see a bad relationship, been there, done that. Now if I want to get some money and I don't understand, let me go do the research, and ChatGPT is your best friend. I call her Tisha. ChatGPT-sha, okay? So I have learned so much along the way that Slutty Vegan 2.0 doesn't just look like burgers, pies, and fries. It's media, it's philanthropy, it's community, it's brand and partnerships. And it's so much that I could have never imagined I needed to go through what I went through so that I can end up on top all over again.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Yeah.
Asahi, would you want to chime in a little bit on Pinky's experience and what you see with these everyday entrepreneurs? Do they have that drive and that okay with failing?
Sure. So I'd say a couple of things from Pinky's example. One is access to capital. That used to be what people talked about, the $1 billion, the debt. And certainly being in finance, capital is key. But it's no longer access to capital, it's access to connected capital. And here's what I mean by that.
That's a bar.
If you give somebody...
That is a bar. Say that again, please.
Right? Access to capital is now access to connected capital. So imagine if I'm going to say to you, I'm going to give you $100,000. Next person I say, I'm going to give that person $500,000. But here's the only difference. One is going to get access to my connections, my Rolodex. I'm going to make the phone call. I'm going to talk about the supplier and the vendor contract. Who performs better, the 100 or the 500?
500.
Right? The 100 with the connections. The 100 with the connections will outperform the 500 in isolation, right? Because you can take that 100, and if I know this, if I call these three here, you're gonna take that 100 and make it into $1 million. So when people talk about capital, you want the capital, but you want that network, those connections. That's what's gonna really catapult you. The other thing I'd say is this. The worst time to look for a banker is when you need them. Yes. All right? You need to have that relationship in advance, right? When you don't need money yet. Okay, so who do you use? Who do you use? We were sharing information backstage, right? You want to build that up before you even need the money. And then you want to contact that person, have that, I'm coming to you, I'm coming to you. And then when you actually are there, you've built that relationship. So often people are like, I need the money and I need it in the next 3 months. It's not going to happen, right? You don't have that relationship.
Absolutely. Now, B, Pinky was just talking about, being able to sell her company. You have done that successfully, and it was a $380 million all-cash deal, right? Yeah, exactly. But you shared that there were actually even larger offers on the table. Yes. So tell me, how did you decide what was the right offer to take for Honey Pot?
Well, it's honestly what Asahi just said. Whoever you take money from, y'all basically go together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Real bad.
Like, real bad.
Real bad.
And, and I think that the other offers were great. Yes, they were definitely a lot more money. But it wasn't that much more money that I would have been okay with selling Honey Pot Soul, right? Like that, there would have had to at least been probably another zero on there, in order for that to make sense. It couldn't have been a 9-figure deal. It would have needed to have been a 10-figure deal. And I just think that it's really important especially when you're doing a deal at that scale, because the scale that, when you're doing a private equity deal, that's a 9-figure deal. That means that they are buying 80+% of your business, right? And so we didn't sell Honey Pot 100%, we sold 85% of it. What that means is that they are the deciding factor, right? So whoever we partnered with, we needed to feel comfortable that it was a partnership that would allow us to continue to run the business. Because it wasn't a full strategic buyout, that meant that we would have to go to market again at some point in the future, which meant that we would be the best people to run the business, to see that through its fruition to whatever the next, sale will be, whether that will be a strategic partnership with a Kimberly-Clark or an Essity or somebody like that, or it could be another private equity deal. You have no idea, right? But there's nobody that would be able to run our business better than us. And so I think that when we learned of some of these other partners and their intentions, potential partners and their intentions didn't necessarily add up to that, which meant that the 1 + 1 didn't equal 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I think money is not everything. It's important. Getting into business is important because we get into it to make money, to create wealth for us and our families. What I saw in front of me was the opportunity to still be able to do that, and so that's what we did.
Incredible. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
E-40, how do you think of the long-term vision of your brand? What is an exit for you?
What is the exit for me?
Yeah, what's the long-term vision with all your entrepreneurship and all your food and beverage brands out there?
Man, I'm so creative, man. I can I can sell something and then come with a whole new, ooh-wop. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, I'm in it for the exit. Don't get it twisted. You feel me? That's with my adult beverages and food and beverage. You feel me? So, I just feel like you sell it and just have some other stuff in the pipeline, like other names, and we good at that, We are some of the most creative people on this earth. That's the goal, is to exit and maybe still have some, some equity in that thing, some skin in it, and pivot like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to know, is there a business problem that still keeps you up at night, even with all your celebrity?
Is there a business problem?
Yeah, that keeps you up at night.
Not really, man. You can't stress. Stress will kill you. You just gotta let things be what it be and just, put it in the hands of God. I don't really be tripping too much. I just, I just stay prayed up.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Okay.
But can I add, though?
Yes, ma'am.
Celebrity, having a name, having millions of dollars in the bank, does not make you immune to problems.
Yeah.
I just, in fact, it can be the opposite of that.
It can be a magnet.
And so, I just wanted to say that, he knows how to handle his stress, and he knows how to have faith and know that everything's gonna be okay. But that don't mean this shit ain't gonna happen.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you another thing, you're right too. And so it's a lot of celebrities that has their own brands, or they might be the brand ambassador of a brand. And those who have some equity in these brands, some of them don't take it serious. Like they'll get that first check and be like, okay, I'm cool, I can sit on my ass. You gotta get out there and push that thing.
You gotta do the work.
That's how you get that billion. That's how you get that billion. You build your brand, man, instead of just sitting on your hands. And that's the problem with it, because they be making it bad for people like me. They be like, oh, you a celebrity, so it might be a store that's unfamiliar with me in New York. And they be like, well, y'all celebrities don't be pushing y'all brands, man. If you're gonna push it on the gram, how many followers you got, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? So that can work against me too. That's some of the things that can work against us when you're a celebrity. Celebrity ain't always it. Celebrity be messing up stuff sometimes.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what I wanted to get at. Since we are running out of time, I would love for each of you to leave this room with one key piece of advice that they can use in building and scaling their businesses, their brands. Just one thing that you think is the most important, if there is one.
I'd say run to trouble. I was talking to Mike Bloomberg, and he said, look for where the problems are. because that's where the best business ideas are. So a whole bunch of people are in the same area, and there's a slew of problems over there. Figure out where the problems are, and that's the tension point. That's gonna be your white space.
I would say to care, this is always my answer. So if anybody's ever heard me speak, then sorry, you're about to hear me say it again. Make sure you're caring for yourself. Eat well, drink water, go to bed. If you are blessed enough to be able to be extremely successful, understand that it comes with a lot of travel, it comes with a lot of stress, it comes with a lot of stuff. And if you aren't doing what you need to do to take care of yourself, meaning going to bed, drink water, keep your extracurricular activities to a minimum. I'm not saying don't have them, because you need to let your hair down every now and again, but don't make it all the time, because it will wear you down and it will take you down, and you need everything that you got to be able to win and be successful.
That's good. So mine is unconventional advice. Everybody in this room needs to become a streamer. What I'm saying might not make sense to everybody in this room, but you need to get you some streaming equipment, especially if you are an entrepreneur. And even if you're not an entrepreneur, get you some streaming equipment. You need to download YouTube. You need to get on Instagram, on Twitch, on TikTok, and you need to find a clipper. A clipper is gonna cut up that long stream that you filming for 2 hours at a time, and they're gonna make little clips of the most viral information that you just said, and they're gonna push it out on the internet. So whether you are selling your business, selling your personality, selling a product, you wanna get yourself out there, start streaming. Y'all are a lot younger than me, but I am in real time learning about the streaming world, how you can monetize. Just take a look at Kai Cenat. That is the new wave. So you wanna know what's trending in business and how to really push yourself? My one advice to everybody in this room is become a streamer. It will excel and advance your business to the next level. Y'all gonna see me streaming in the next 2 weeks. Okay? In the next 2 weeks, yes.
I say take advantage of your socials, just like you're saying, pretty much. Streaming is a little different, but it is social, and it's, you consolidating all the content into one and making a short, you know what I mean? So I understand, and people ask me, man, why wasn't you selling, wine a long time ago, man? I say, bro, it would have tore my pockets up for real, because back in them days, you would have had to take out a 2-page ad and like a double XL, which used to be $13,000. You know what I mean? All these magazines, you got to take them out. We got social media. We got to start using this free advertisement. It can work against you and it can work for you. It just depends on how you monitor and watch it and you play your game right. So use your socials to the fullest. That's all I can say.
All right. Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for joining me.
Thank you.